Jeff Jackson, CEO of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. We're here today at our kickoff for our Chino Valley Transit. And transportation is important for any community. It's an issue of quality of life. And so here in Chino Valley, we're very excited about our successful launch of the Chino Valley Transit. These buses will help our citizens all over Chino Valley make it to places that they can't ordinarily get to. And I want to salute all of the people involved in making this happen for our community.
Just like a Chamber of Commerce, this project has taken a lot of volunteers, isn't it?
It has, and our kick-in for the Chamber is we make available routes and information for people. And I would say anecdotally, we field probably 6-7 calls at least a week of people asking, you know, how do I find transportation around Chino Valley? So obviously there's a need, and obviously these good guys are filling that need for Chino Valley.
Well, actually what happened is we had to apply for a grant, and we had to get approved. That took about 3 months, and that was kind of the real baby steps, not knowing, trying to get the budget put together when we've never done one of these types of budgets before. But then we had what we call a TTAC, which is Transit Advisory Committee, basically. And we all started meeting, and we had a big cross-section of people from the high school bus superintendent all the way down to the Chamber of Commerce, plus the town council and stuff. And we had all kinds of ideas. We had to decide where the routes were going to be, how often we should do it, you know, how many buses we need, all kinds of, where we're going to put the bus stop sign. So we played with that for a while before we got the buses started. And then in March we had some advertisement, and then I said March, I meant November, and we started one bus for 1 month, just running around Chino. We ran every day. No, it didn't cost. It was free. Trying to see what the ridership was going to do and how it was going to do. Did our bus stops work? And we did have to make a few changes. We made a few changes. And then we, in December 1st, we implemented the regional one that went to Prescott. And that's worked pretty well. We're in its very infancy, and you know, we know, especially with elder people and handicapped people, they're set in a certain way, and to change that makes a big difference to them. And so we know that that's slowed it up a little bit. We really brought it on because we knew that their assistance money, the LTAF monies, was going away. And so we tried to provide something for them. But now a lot of people are looking at this, well, this is only for the elderly and the seniors, and it's not. It's a public transit system that where everybody is welcome to come and ride. If you're 60 years old and older, or you're disabled, around Chino Valley, a bus trip is $1. Every time you get on the bus, it's $1. And then everybody else, it's $2. If we go to region, down to Gail Gardner Way at Walmart, or the hospital over there, it's $4 for 60 and $8 for the other people to just come and ride the bus, you know, or to go where they have to.
Is that one way?
One way. We diversify though for people that cannot get to the bus stop. If for some reason they're disabled or whatever, they can call with a 24-hour notice if they're within 1/2 mile of our route.
Okay, my name is Jason Kelly. I work at the town of Chino Valley as a transit coordinator, and today we hosted the grand opening festivities for the transit program. Twofold, we're celebrating, reasons why we're doing this twofold, we're celebrating the program's launch, and secondly, we're trying to create increased awareness about the transit services in Chino Valley. So it's marketing outreach as well as thanking and acknowledging all those parties involved with the program up to date.
And what are your goals? Let's start with goals for where you want to see the program get to.
Okay. Well, within our first year, we want to see development of significant ridership. Through that, we're going to be evolving the program to learn what the passengers in the community would like. So our second goal would be to modify the program accordingly to meet the passenger demand. Obviously, sustainability is something that we're always looking at to make sure that the program can continue. So those are my goals.
Why do you think the program's important to the residents of Chino Valley?
I would say that there's certain demographics in our community that would need this program, those that are transportation disadvantaged. So when we talk about access to services, I think that that's the importance of this program, to provide those opportunities to individuals who are maybe less fortunate to have the ability to drive their own car, or have certain needs for services that we can provide by accessing Prescott, which is where the specialty medical clinics are located. So that's what I think it'll do for our community.
But it's not, it's my understanding, it's not just for senior citizens or medically challenged people. Kids can use it, other, people in the whole community, correct?
Right. What you heard me talk about are the specific targets that are likely to use it. Now, this is a public service, so the program is open for everybody, anybody in the public who wants to use it. For example, you talked about youth. One particular age group that we think could use the program will be the kids to access our recreational programs during the summer, especially accessing the community center park. So it's always been a goal of the aquatics program to have an aquatics express service. So I think we're going to be able to partner with the aquatic services to provide that opportunity.
And are you going to be able to keep your fees or your ridership fares low enough, even with the upcoming rise in gas prices that most people expect?
Public transit systems set their own fare structures. There's no requirement to have a certain level of fare structure other than that requirement set by council. So our program fares will be set accordingly depending on what the mayor and council feel is appropriate for our community. We could charge $10 a ride, we could charge no dollars per ride. So I think we're at a starting point right now, and we're finding out what the community can and can't do when it comes to their affordability of the program, their interest in the program, where they'd like to see bus stops located. It might be possible that fares will go away. It could be possible that fares could go up too. So we're kind of in a unique phase because the program just started. We're going to be modifying accordingly. Granted, we do have a financial situation on the horizon here, as does every city, town, and state, for that matter, that needs to look at how this program works in the overall financial scheme.
And you are the inaugural transit director, and how does that make you feel, and is it exciting for you?
Well, I'm one of an army of citizens here that is we're working collaboratively to implement this program. I happen to be one of 2 paid staff, so while it's exciting to be the transit development individual, the implementer, it's also I think I should give credit to the number of volunteers that have helped provide service. Today's program was delivered by about 16 to 20 individuals, so I don't want to take all the credit for what's happening with the transit program.
Well, my name is Mike Normand, and I'm the Director of Transit Programs with ADOT, the Arizona State Department of Transportation. And I'm here today to help with the kickoff for the Chino Valley transit system. And why does the state get involved with this? Why do we think it's important? Well, why we think it's important is that transit is part of the transportation system. It's an important part of it, and the State Department of Transportation, we are involved not only in roads. I think we're best known for our highway work and maintaining and operating the state highway system, but we're also involved in transit, in railroads, and airports. So we're a multimodal transportation department. And what we do at ADOT in terms of transit is we provide funding to the rural transit systems around the state and transit systems in small communities and Native American tribes. The funding comes from the federal government, the Federal Transit Administration. They provide a certain amount of funds every year to the state. And what ADOT does is we work with communities, we go through a process to identify what their needs are and what funding is available, and then help them to acquire that funding. So here in Chino Valley, ADOT is helping with the operating funds. We provide a little over half of the cost of the operating funds. The community then provides the other half, which is known as their local match. And what's interesting in the case of Chino Valley is that part of that local match is provided through the time that the volunteer drivers are operating the vehicles. So basically they get credit for the volunteer driver's time. So we attach a wage rate to that and a dollar value, and Chino Valley is able to use that to match their federal funds. So it's a great way to do that. And one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, what's important for a transit system like this to be successful and to operate in a community like Chino Valley is that there is a lot of community support. And here you have support from your elected officials and from volunteers in the community that are actually driving the buses. And without that kind of support and that volunteer activity, it's really difficult to have a transit system operate and be successful. So really commend Chino Valley for that effort and for the level of support that they have.
Okay, so 2 questions. Do you have any other communities in the state that are using volunteer drivers as part of their match? Is that a common thing or sort of unusual?
It's kind of unusual. I think we have a lot of systems that aren't necessarily in the same grant program that Chino Valley is in right now, but there's a lot of, we also provide funding and vehicles for a lot of nonprofit organizations that operate around the state. We have over 100 agencies around the state that we provide vehicles similar to the ones you have here in Chino Valley. And I think many of them operate with volunteer drivers, but they're smaller operations. What Chino Valley has started here is to actually have scheduled service and regular routes that they operate around the community. So.
And you mentioned about the program being successful. How do you measure success?
Well, how we measure success a number of ways. Ridership is certainly one way, and typically when a system first starts operating, it takes a while for people to know that the buses are operating, and learn how to use it. So it takes a while for that ridership to build up. In Chino Valley, we're working with the town to help them with some of their marketing. We're providing technical assistance and monitoring the service and improving the service and getting the word out to the community. And then you have very dedicated people like Jason Kelly, who's the manager of the system, and people like Vice Mayor Romley, who's very committed and passionate about the service, and just events like this help get the word out that this transit system is operating in Chino Valley and that it's available, and people can take it to go to the grocery store or to a doctor's appointment or whatever they might need around Chino Valley. And as gas prices go up, as we know they are, it helps. It's a more economical way to get around.
So why don't you talk to me? I mean, in a way, you're a competitor, and from the fact that you provide public transit in various areas and stuff like that. Tell me why you're excited about this project for Chino Valley.
Well, the only competition that they really present for me would be in terms of taxi service, because that's all I do is serve Chino Valley with taxi service. And quite honestly, it's rather expensive, and so I'm really excited about this opportunity for citizens of Chino to be able to get into Prescott and not do it by having to get a taxi, because that's pretty darn pricey. So I'm glad that this is happening. And on the other hand, it also ties up with our route in Prescott. We accept their transfers, so they can get on board in Chino and get into Prescott to either the hospital or to the Walmart on the north side of Prescott, where they can then get onto our bus and at no charge, and then go anywhere else in Prescott and come back, get back on the bus to Chino and come back out. I think it's a really good opportunity for the citizens of Prescott. I think it's also a good test to see if we can actually make this thing work. And if people don't use it, then they truly will lose it. They need to be using this thing. They need to get on it, and they need to give it a try. At least give it a try.
As far as the cost for the ridership and stuff, it sounds very, reasonable.
Oh, it beats the heck out of a taxi.
You know,
Yeah, it is reasonable.
and I assume that if they wanted to go on down to Phoenix, then you can get them over to your shuttle service with this system too.
Yeah, actually, they could do that. They could travel into Prescott, get on the Prescott City bus, take it over to the shuttle, get on the shuttle, and travel all the way across the country.